Straight ahead on 12 News, looming cuts. Difficult decisions lie ahead in the Osseo School District, and parents are speaking up. Then, a health issue that's drawing increased awareness.
The perception of hoarding is you're crazy, you collect garbage.
But first,
this is a long sought after dream.
A highly anticipated project begins in New Hope. 12 News starts right now. The city of New Hope has dreamed of building a city center for a long time.
When retail big box store Kmart closed last year, the city finally had its chance to purchase the property and push for redevelopment. 12 News reporter Shannon Slatton shows us what the first bit of demolition looks like.
When the first beams came down here at the old Kmart building, it marked the beginning of change for the city of New Hope.
Yeah, it's amazing.
When opportunity knocks in New Hope,
well, I'm watching the Bobcat right now.
It sounds something like this.
They knocked all these walls down already, and they just knocked the garden center down.
Ken Haas watched.
It's my day off anyway, so.
And snapped pictures.
Oh, yeah.
For nearly an hour Thursday morning.
Have a few memories of it, you know.
He wanted to see a building that's been standing for 42 years come down.
Piece by piece, and they pick up piece by piece.
The Kmart site.
Planning the next phase piece by piece.
This is a long sought after dream.
Our city staff members like Curtis Jacobson.
Have it more of the central gathering place in the city of New Hope for events and shopping.
Development plans for the lot include it all: apartments, senior housing, restaurants, entertainment, and retail.
The hope would be it's a gathering space, and that's what most city centers are.
Planning for a new city center has been underway for years.
This is just the first visible stab at it.
And Mayor Kathy Hempkin got to take the first swipe.
Put on my seatbelt, put on my hard hat, work the levers, and knock the front of the building down.
It's pretty wild.
And to assure the workers that this project is like none other.
I went home and baked cookies for the construction guys.
Showing that when this opportunity knocks in New Hope,
it was really cool.
It is welcomed.
How fun is that?
And that was kind of neat. Oh, yeah.
You can expect to see this parking lot in use this summer for the city's farmers market. However, initial construction on a new development optimistically won't begin here until the summer of 2014. In New Hope, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
The city expects demolition on the property to take 2 to 3 months.
Brooklyn Center Police helped kickstart an investigation that led to the arrest of a child predator suspect. According to Anoka County authorities, that suspect is a Minneapolis cop. 32-year-old Bradley Schnickel of Andover is in police custody on suspicion of criminal sexual conduct. Anoka County authorities arrested Schnickel after Brooklyn Center Police identified him as the man who they say was using social media to send a girl inappropriate messages. Authorities say the investigation has widened to several girls between the ages of 12 and 14 years old, and the allegations include sexual contact. Schnickel has not yet been formally charged. Minneapolis police have placed him on administrative leave.
While lawmakers hammer out gun control legislation, local police departments continue to report a surge in gun permit applications. In Plymouth, police officials say they've received nearly 100 more applications in January compared to the year before. In Crystal, the city processed more than 100 applications, close to half of its 2012 total. And in Brooklyn Park, that number was more than 150, twice the monthly average for last year. The Osseo School District is in a tough spot.
That's right. They need to make deep budget cuts after a levy request failed last November. On the table, $11 million in budget cuts over the next 2 years, including 160 staff layoffs. The Osseo School District would love to be talking about hiring teachers, not laying them off.
When we start talking about $11 million in budget reductions, there just isn't any getting around it.
The reality is 76 classroom teachers and 33 other instructional staff face the possibility of layoffs as the school district trims $11 million from its budget over the next 2 years.
That's where more than 80% of our budget is. You can't take $11 million of reductions and not impact our classroom sites. It's impossible.
With community forums this week, district officials are counting on the public to weigh in on the proposed budget cuts before they're finalized in March.
I don't know if there is a better way to do it. One thing that's good that they're doing is they're cutting more non-instructional things up front.
The lion's share of teacher cuts come in year 2 during the 2014-2015 school year. Superintendent Kate McGuire says that gives the district more time should additional money come from the state or should the district decide to go for another levy vote.
Of course, want to avoid the instructors being cut.
Parents like Craig Schultz just hope the budget cuts have minimal impact on the classroom. That's a desire echoed by district officials facing the near impossible task of cutting without sacrificing quality.
That's where the rubber meets the road. We need to have teachers in classrooms with students building the kinds of relationships that they need to have in order for students to learn.
The public is invited to 2 upcoming feedback sessions on the school district cuts. One is tonight, Thursday evening at Park Center High School starting at 6 o'clock. The other is on Monday night at Osseo High School, also beginning at 6 o'clock.
How do you make your community a better place? It's a question the U.S. Department of Justice put to community colleges and law enforcement around the country. This week, a group of those leaders met at North Hennepin Community College to talk about how they can work together to enhance the community. The results of this brainstorming session will be used to create grants available to agencies all across the country.
We know if the more we enhance social capital, the less crime that exists. The more people feel that there's a sense of belonging where they live. People feel safer. Communities thrive.
Chief Davis says one example of a collaboration to build community were the community cafes held a few years ago in Brooklyn Park. Well, coming up, an emerging mental health issue that recently drew the attention of a Brooklyn Park building inspector.
And later in sports, the Hopkins girls hockey team prepares to face off in their first playoff game.
But first, it's your AccuWeather forecast.
We have all heard horrific stories of hoarding, whether it's piles of stuff or an overabundance of animals in a home.
Hoarding is drawing increased attention this week as a task force, including a Brooklyn Park building inspector, hopes to come up with ways to respond.
It's a problem that it's always been put under the rug and hushed up.
It's easy to understand why nobody would want to admit to being a hoarder. These pictures from Brooklyn Park's Code Enforcement Department show it could be anything from garbage piling up to beer cans. Officials are concerned because it can create fire and health hazards.
And there's papers all over from floor to ceiling. I mean, it's a fire hazard. Once bugs, so for instance, infiltrate a hoarded apartment, it's so difficult to get rid of them.
Rodney Beestrom is a member of a statewide task force on hoarding that includes mental health, social service, and code enforcement experts.
Everyone has experienced it, and the problem is staff people to deal with it.
The task force wants to become a hub for offering advice to cities on how to get to the root of the problem.
If we only deal with the mess, with the hoard, then we're only dealing with the superficial behaviors. We need to get underneath to understand why a person is hoarding and what is creating that situation for them.
Something building inspectors say they can't do alone.
You can go in and demand that you get this place cleaned up in a week or a month, but 2 months later, it's back to being the same thing. So these people are really kind of in desperate need, and they need some kind of outside help to help them discover why they're hoarding.
Experts say hoarding impacts tens of thousands of Minnesotans, but they say it's really impossible to know exactly how many people are having a problem with it. Well, coming up, a standout student in Maple Grove who isn't afraid to take on a challenge.
But first in sports, a handful of Osseo Nordic skiers are headed to the state meet. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
Busy week for Nordic skiers, and a lot of them will be heading on to state after this week.
The best do their best and get on to the state meet. That'll be next week up north, but not bad weather this week compared to what we had last week for the conference meets. Yeah, and all of the training comes down to one day for local Nordic skiers hoping to qualify for state. 3 local squads were part of the Section 5 Nordic Championship meet. It was great weather for the start of the boys' pursuit at Worth Park, Osseo, Park Center, and Champlin Park, the local schools. And it's a close finish. On the left in black, it's Tyler Gilbert of Irondale racing to the win as he holds off Mounds View's Steve Hokinson for first. Dark horse Osseo aiming for the team title, and an Orioles brigade comes in together in the 8, 9, 10 spots. Kevin Kerwig is 8th, followed by Austin Schumer and Tanner Wetzel. They all qualify for state, but fall just short as a team. To the girls' race, where Osseo Sarah Bezdacek starts in 4th place in the pursuit format based on first race times. The winner is Nikki Reeker of Roseville, and she helps the Raiders to the team championship as well. 2 local girls are headed to state. Bezdacek holds the 4th spot, and she moves on to Giants Ridge next week. And she'll be joined by Kaylee Shagan, who places 6th overall. Here's what a couple of the Orioles state qualifiers had to say.
There's no better feeling in the world to finish with your teammates like that. That's so fun to do, and it's a memory I'm going to keep, and hopefully we can do something like that at state too, because that's just an incredible feeling.
Oh, it feels really good. I was really glad I qualified. I just raced hard, and I really wanted to have fun today and just leave it all out there. So yeah, I'm really excited.
As we check the team scores, Osseo's boys come close but fall 1 point short of a state berth, with Irondale edging them. Park Center places 8th and Champlain Park 9th. Roseville takes the girls' title with Andover 2nd, and Osseo finishes 3rd. Champlain Park is 9th and Park Center 10th. Most of the girls' hockey teams in the area start postseason play Saturday. The Hopkins Royals are hoping to make some noise in the loaded Section 6AA tournament, which includes many of our area teams. The Royals are the number 3 seed for the tournament. They face a pretty dangerous number 6 seed in Armstrong Cooper Saturday. Hopkins is 17-6-2 coming into the postseason, including a win over top seed Minnetonka. They're excited about the postseason, and they'll have to play well to advance.
Our team really focuses on moving our feet, and making sure if we move our feet, everything else will just fall into place. That's really just the main thing, and shooting obviously, but that's really the main thing.
Knowing that we can play with the best teams in the state has definitely helped us continue to be a great team.
We've been there before, so that's a nice, we get some experience, a lot of tradition in our program. Our section's tough, but you don't have to beat everybody. So that's a good thing. You just got to win the first one and get on a little bit of a roll, and we're playing well, so.
Good goaltending is important at playoff time, and the Royals have a good one in Erin O'Neill. She has a 1.67 goals against average and a .929 save percentage. O'Neill's standout 45 save performance in the Royals' upset of Minnetonka helped land her in Sports Illustrated's Faces in the Crowd, which recognizes high school, college, and amateur athletes.
Well, I actually had no idea that it was happening. My parents didn't really know what was going on exactly either, so they didn't tell me. So I just had a couple of kids come up to me at school, and you're in Sports Illustrated, and I was like, that's so cool. It's just unbelievable. I know I've looked at that page 100 times myself, and finally, being able to be the athlete that's on there is so cool. And I owe everything that game was all my teammates. I saw every single shot.
Here's the schedule for Saturday's Section 6AA tournament. North Metro has a tall task against top seed Minnetonka. Wayzata meets Buffalo at 2:15. Armstrong Cooper and Hopkins play at 4:30, with Maple Grove facing second seed Benilde at 6:45. All games are at Parade Ice Garden in Minneapolis. It won't be too long before the ice fishing season comes to an end for another year. Here's Tackle Terry Tuma with his weekly tip.
I'm always talking about moods of fish. How do I identify those moods? And then what should we do? Well, first of all, moods are going to be affected by weather conditions, and that's going to be not just cold fronts, any changes in the weather. Fishing pressure, noise are some of the ingredients that are going to affect the moods. So therefore, then we're going to have positive, neutral, and negative. Most of the time, we're going to be dealing with neutral and negative fish. If you have negative fish or this tough bite for any species on the ice, we want to go small, slow, and subtle. So that's going to be light line, for instance, for crappies and sunfish. Crappies, 2-pound test. Sunfish, bluegills, 1-pound test. Walleyes, 4, possibly 6. And then you're going to use smaller baits. 1 silver wiggler, for instance, or a small waxworm, a pin minnow. And then, of course, large crappie minnows or small fatheads for your walleye. So we have to match exactly what these moods are going to be showing us on our Vexilars, for instance, or our electronics, and you can easily identify how they're approaching your baits and your lures. If you take heed of this, you are going to increase your success. And have a great week on the ice, and just keep enough fish for the frying pan.
Thanks, Terry, and that's it for sports.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Is there a room in your house that's just plain ugly?
You may qualify for a room makeover. To celebrate its 20th year, the West Metro Home Remodeling Fair is sponsoring Operation Rescue Room. The contest lets fair visitors judge whose bathroom is the baddest or whose kitchen is the cruddiest. The winner of the contest receives $1,000 to put toward a remodeling project. And to enter, contestants must submit a photo of their nightmare room and a 100-word description of why it needs a makeover. And entries are accepted until February 17th. For more details, you can visit homeremodelingfair.com. Well, sports, studying, and service. This week's Standout student can do it all.
It's no surprise he's getting college acceptance letters left and right, and as Renee Bonneau reports, this multitasker from Heritage Christian Academy is always up for a good challenge.
17-year-old Alex Isoso isn't one to sell himself short.
I know what I can attain and what I can do and accomplish, so I do expect a lot out of myself.
Not only does he push himself as an athlete, but he also keeps a loaded class schedule.
I took a AP Literature last year. I'm taking AP Calculus this year with physics and with the PSEO class. So I definitely keep myself busy with all of that.
Although he plans to pursue a business career, Alex took a CAD class because he was interested in engineering.
CAD, I feel like, would give me another boost and get me better prepared for next year when I go to college.
By taking PSEO classes, Alex will already have some college credits by the time he gets there.
He works to achieve more than is required, and he never lets go. He always wants to do more and more and more, and he's always seeking to find out how he can improve or do better.
He makes sure others around him do better too. Last year, he came to school early 3 days a week to tutor a classmate. His guidance counselor says it's that attitude that will lead him to a bright future.
He's the kind of young man who, 10 years from now, I won't be surprised with the amount of success that he's had as an individual.
In Maple Grove, Renee Bonneau, 12 News.
Alex has applied to 7 colleges, including Harvard and Columbia. So far, he's been accepted to Marquette University and universities of Wisconsin and Minnesota. He's got lots of choices.
All right.
That's it for now. We'll see you tomorrow.